Let's talk today about what happens if you are injured in a motor vehicle collision with an Uber or Lyft driver. By the end of this video, you're going to know step by step what to do if you find yourself in this situation. So let's talk about what happens if you are the passenger in an Uber or Lyft and that driver causes a collision with another car. Let's say that they rear end another driver and you are injured. The first thing is about Uber and Lyft is that we have an app which governs who the driver is, right? And usually we have their first name. So you're gonna need to preserve any automatic text messages or emails that you get from the app identifying who the driver is, because you're going to need to then give it to your attorney so that we can find out what the full name is of that person and who that person is, and therefore what insurance they have as a personal driver in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So the first thing that you want to make sure you do is keep and preserve any automatic text messages or emails you get from the app which identify the driver. Secondly, at the scene, if you're able, take a picture of your Uber or Lyft driver's license plate, because that's going to identify what vehicle that person drives. So in addition to keeping his name or her name and any identifying information you have through the app, we'll also have a license plate that's registered in the Commonwealth so that we can identify that person and then subsequently find their insurance. Third, do not refuse any medical treatment. If the police and ambulance arrive on the scene, let them check you out, let them transport you to the hospital if you need that. Secondly, if you don't need it, but you feel later on in the day sore, go seek medical treatment. Call your primary care physician, go to an urgent care facility, go to the ER. Do not wait and hope it gets better, because when you're jolted in a car accident, it very seldom gets better. It usually only gets worse. Seek that medical treatment. And fourth, call Orlando and Associates, because we are going to make sure that we put on notice the insurance companies that are part of this incident, which is the personal auto coverage of the driver of your Lyft or Uber and the insurance company for Lyft or Uber, which has subsequent insurance and works in tandem with the driver's personal insurance. So if your damages are significant, we're going to make sure that we can go after every available insurance policy in the situation and protect you to the fullest extent. Now let's talk about what the steps are if you're a pedestrian hit by an Uber or Lyft driver. We had a client, he was a pedestrian. It was a driver for Uber Eats, rushing around to pick up the food and deliver it and get their tips and not paying attention, and hit him as he crossed the street in a crosswalk. So what are the steps that he should take? Well, number one, as he's laying on the ground, definitely do not refuse any medical attention. Let them, the EMTs and the police officers, provide you the medical attention you need. Go to the ER if they're ready to transport you, or after the fact, call your primary care or go to urgent care to get that medical care. Number two, if you're able, if you're lucid, ask that driver for their identifying information. You have a phone in your pocket, most of us have it all the time. Ask and take a picture of their driver's license, their registration to their car, a picture of their license plate, so that later on we can identify who it was that hit you. Too often with these rideshare apps, they only identify the person by their first name, and if you don't know because you weren't even in the vehicle, you were a pedestrian, what do you do? So we want to make sure that we have as much identifying information as possible. If you can take a picture of their vehicle, their license plate, their registration, or their driver's license, please do it. Third, make sure that you report to Orlando and Associates all of this information so that we can put the appropriate insurance carriers on notice. That will be the insurance company for the driver, his personal auto policy, and also the insurance company for Uber and or Lyft, whichever the rideshare app is that hit you as a pedestrian. And third, what happens if you're driving in your car and you're rear-ended or a collision is caused by another driver that's driving for Uber or Lyft? What do you do? Well, it's very similar to what you would do in any car accident. You want to get as much information at the scene as you can. You want to make sure you know who that driver is. If you're able to, and you're not too hurt, exchange information, take pictures of their driver's license, their license plate, their vehicle, whatever they have that identifies them through the Uber or Lyft app. Ask them which rideshare app they are driving for, because later on, we're going to want to make sure that we put Uber or Lyft on notice, and in addition to his insurance company. Do not refuse medical care at the scene. If the ambulance shows up or the police show up and want to help you, take the help. Make sure that you're okay physically, and then call Orlando and Associates, and we'll take it from here. We'll make sure that no matter what happened in that collision, no matter how bad your body was jolted or you were injured, that we take good care of you and make sure we get you the compensation that you deserve.